Namaskaram everyone. In one of the video, I received a question from one of the Anna who actually asked, did I ever had a Kundalini awakening? So before I go further into the answers, one thing we need to keep in mind is there is no spiritual experience or spiritual process which does not involve Kundalini awakening. However, the intensity depends on type of the path, type of the sadhana, or the Kundalini awakening can even happen or be triggered by the certain kind of scenarios, or you have came closer to heightened beings, or you have been to some energy situation or consecrated spaces or samadhi of some of the enlightened beings. So to have the Kundalini awakening spiritual process is not mandatory for each and every individual, but majority of the people, nearly 99.99999% people, are still stuck in the survival game. And as long as you are stuck in the survival game, Kundalini cannot express by itself. So before we understand what Kundalini is, because Kundalini, the word has been thrown around everywhere. You can go search in the internet, you can find a lot of images of Kundalini and chakras and all that kind of stuff. But most of the people are not really aware of it. So what actually is Kundalini? So like I mentioned that if you want to have a Kundalini awakening or something, it's not necessary to have the spiritual process or even initiation also. But these are possible only for the people who have a certain kind of karmic background. I don't want to go into a lot of other stuff that might go over the head for most of the people. But for some reason, there are various reasons. I can go into that one, but that will even make this video more longer. I'll just skip that part. For some reason, some people can have this kind of experience, but they cannot, become a living reality for a long time. They will go up and then they will come down. The only reason being the experience has been triggered by a situation or something. It's not actually coming because of the flowering. It's just like, if I'll give you the example, if you feel cold, you can actually generate heat either by burning something externally or by generating the heat from within. Only the heat that is generated from within, or for example, in the example, like the sun is, glowing up there. It's not up actually, but in our perspective, it's up in the sky. So it is burning by itself. So it can heat itself for a long time. In our experience perpetually, but if you just burn a fire, it will last for a while and then it will fade away. So sadhana is basically necessary, to overcome limitations, and not only that, you want to experience something profound, that's completely different aspects, and Kundalini awakening has a lot of role to play, or every role to play on that one. So even if you are following other paths, different paths, Gnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, or Dhyana Yoga, eventually the main objective is without the role of Kundalini, nothing can actually happen. Why is it so? Let's explore a little bit about what Kundalini actually is. Again, for some of the people, when Kundalini awakens, it takes the very explosive experience, and that's where people think, oh, tears will come up, they will shake, somebody will cry, but it's not going to happen the same thing for each and every individual. So that's why one of the reason we prohibit sharing experience of spiritual experiences what that happened. It's not a problem, like if you share, like it's not going to hinder, but it's the person you are sharing too, because they will develop certain kind of expectation, and they will think that they are doing sadhana for a long time, and they'll think that okay, why this is not happening with me. They are comparing themselves with others. So that is the only fallacy there is. So you should not be expecting anything, because Kundalini can awake either explosively if you are doing certain kind of practices, or accidentally, or certain kind of stuff, or it can grow gradually, build up over time. The thrill or expecting explosive states can happen, or it can happen gradually also. These are different various ways to do it. If you go through the Gnana Yoga or Karma Yoga, it will go gradually. In Bhakti Yoga, it is more rapidly, but it's the Kriya Yoga that is more profound, powerful. If you want to explore what Kundalini is, and then how to explore it, and having a mastery over it. So I'm a little bit deviated what Kundalini is. So now if you want to ask what Kundalini is the basis of all life energy. It is basically the life energy, the energy. Sorry about the noise going over there. I'll try to speak louder. So basically if we are talking of the energy dimension of ourselves, I'll not go too much deeper, but as in yogic terminology, there are 5 bodies or 5 layers of body that we have. First being the food body, or the physical body, the gross body that is tangible and everything. The second one being the mental body, which contains your thoughts, emotions, conscious, subconscious, and unconscious memory, and that dimension of it. And then the third one is basically the energy body, or the pranic body, or the pranamaya kosha. So basically what we are talking about, the Kundalini, is completely fall under this domain and beyond. So here what actually happens is when the energy is flowing through the body, as Sadhguru has already mentioned, and if you do Kriya Yoga, and then if you are in that kind of a state, and if you explore yourself, you'll be able to explore various ways the energy flows in your body, the prana actually. I'll not go too much deeper, so that many people will fly, but I'll just give you the mechanics of it. So basically this energies that flow in your body, the pranic energy, the vital energy that flows in your body, takes different routes in the body. So basically out of 72,000 nadis, or the channels through which this energy flows, there are 3 significant of them. 2 of them are known as the Ida and Pingala, which actually stems from the Muladhara and all the way through the Agna Chakra. It cannot go beyond that. So these 2 channels are known as the Ida and Pingala, which is represented by the solar and lunar channel, also masculine and feminine dimension of it, or Shiva and Shakti dimension of it. So when they meet here, the duality disappears. But why this does not happen to most of the people is because these 2 channels are active in each and every one from the childhood. It's there all the time, and these are for the survival purpose. These are for the survival purpose, because without the duality you cannot survive in the world. You need to feel heat to cold, you need to feel pain to pleasure, you need to feel hunger and satiation. So without Ida and Pingala being imbalanced, you cannot explore that dimension, because most of the people are still compulsive. If you are sensible, you may not need that one, you will not need that one. But if you are in a state that to eat food you need to feel hungry, or to sleep you need to feel tired, then this needs to be active. Without that we cannot survive. Because of this reason, all the animals, most of the animals, especially that one with the spinal cord. The Kundalini, energy Kundalini, what we refer, that is active up to, most of them are active up to the Anahata. So the 4 chakras, they are active on that one. And basically the energy is flowing, is flowing imbalanced. That's the main reason Ida and Pingala, the masculine and feminine energies are in cyclical order, in different proportion, and that's how we experience life. But what we refer as the Kundalini cannot flow, the energy cannot flow. This main energy is dormant. Sadhguru has also explained in various videos. The energy is actually dormant in the Muladhara chakra, because it's not necessary for for the survival purpose. So it's not active. And now what actually happens is, since it is not necessary for the survival process, 99.999% will not have access to this one. So like I mentioned that there are various ways it can be triggered. For example, there are various energy places. For example, Kailash is one of them. I cannot leave that out. Dhanalinga is also there, but very subtle. It's very difficult for everyone to grasp that. And Velangiri, the south of Kailash, and some other places I've been. The Lotus Temple is also very powerful, and I cannot miss out Ramana Maharshi Ashram, which is my spiritual home, where I got powerful experience even without any spiritual practice. Why this actually happens is because there is a concentration of spiritual energies in that place. When I refer to spiritual energy place, I'm referring to the ojas, but they are also of different dimension. I'll not go into that, and then it's going to make the video longer. But coming back, there is no spiritual experience without Kundalini as such. Bhakti Yoga, the way of the devotion and the way of the Kriya, can actually accelerate you to experience farther, fastest, while the Gnana Yoga might come to the final realization rather later on. But Karma Yoga is going to build up the spiritual energy gradually. And most of the people are not aware of what all these processes are like this. That is one of the reasons Sadhguru has set up the process, the Isha Yoga, or the inner engineering process, as well as the Isha Yoga Center, where you can explore all these dimensions, and if you want to go much more farther, you can practice all these 4, and then you can reach there as quickly as possible. But we have to understand that Kundalini Awakening and spiritual experience is not the end by itself. Most of the people will think that, okay, I've experienced everything and this is it. No, it's not it. This is where finally the spiritual process will finally begin. You have just tasted the beyond. It's not the end. This is just the beginning. So I think I've already answered the question, but without the Kundalini Awakening, there is no spiritual experience. And one thing we need to keep in mind is you can find a lot of text, a lot of videos, and there are a lot of spiritual processes all over the world. I have even seen that there is something known as the Saktipat, if you have heard about it or not, in which the Guru can actually awaken the Kundalini of the disciple just by mere touch and everything. One thing is I'll not say right or wrong or something, but what I've seen is, if you raise the Kundalini abruptly, which you can do, it has got a lot of risks because the body may not be able to handle it, and you can actually physically damage your body, which is recoverable. But the energy body, what Sadhguru has mentioned is if it gets damaged, it cannot be repaired. In some cases, it cannot be repaired in this lifetime, which basically hinders the spiritual growth. Again, Kriya Yoga is not only the only path for spiritual liberation. There are other ways also. For example, Buddhist, the Buddha, like Anapanasati yoga or Vipassana, does not make use of Kriya yoga directly. So, but spiritual experiences will be hindered, which is a possibility with the Kriya yoga. And the another problems with practicing the yoga on your own is, like I already mentioned, you can damage your body and you are not prepared. That's why if you just ask me that, like I had like a very explosive experiences even before joining Isha. But the main problem is, like, once you have that kind of experiences, you cannot live or social life. It's very difficult. Like I struggled within me like nearly 2 years, and eventually, like okay, I need a life guru, and that's how I got initiated into Shambhavi Mahamudra. So if you are seeing that, like Kundalini Awakening, if somebody is explaining in the YouTube, or you can in the videos or something, you'll see that somebody is explaining, oh, this has happened with me or something like that. Yeah, that is completely fine. And again, like I said, like it's not the end. It's just the beginning. Even if it happens to you, good. If not happens to you, that's also really good, as long as you are not changing the direction. It's very, very important, because at the end of the day, like what we refer as a spiritual experience or ecstasy or bliss or whatever you want to say, it's important only for you to keep on the path. Because most of the people, if Buddha comes to you and then says that you have to sit in the meditation until the skin in your buttocks does not peel off, how many of people will do the meditation? No, most of the people will not go. And this is where the significance of the guru, and they have made the spiritual process in a packaged way, in a kriya form, so that just by doing for a limited period of time, it can have more enduring impact. So it doesn't really matter like how each individual experiences. If you are in a genuine spiritual path, the Kundalini is there, but don't try to become a book yogi. Do not try these things on your own, because if you are talking about like awakening of Kundalini, that basically means you are playing with your life energies. Life energies in the most subtlest form is known as the ojas. In little bit subtle form, it's known as the tejas, and in most, it's still subtle, but like most perceivable way, if you are doing a lot of meditation, it's got the prana, but most of the people are still not aware of that. Then like it comes in the form of the breath. So so yeah, this is it. So without the Kundalini awakening, or again, like it can take in various form, in a more subtle way or more grosser way, it can build up over time. Just take it your time, like because all things are not made equal, but they all have the same potential and possibility. And this is the main reason, like there is Bhakti Yoga, there is a Kriya Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Gnana Yoga, and there is a Kundalini Yoga, Laya Yoga, which is also known as, and there is Isha Yoga and various other stuff. The only thing is, like, it should work for you. If it is working for other people and not working for you, it's not for you. It should work for you. And Isha Yoga works for everyone, because there are everything for all kind of people. So the grace of Sadguru with each of us, and we are in the midst of the crisis of the soil. So I'll take this opportunity for each of you who is listening to this video. Just search for Safe Soil and safesoil.org. Become Earth Buddy, make a voice out, because if you become liberated, you are not coming back, that is fine for you. But if you're watching this video, that basically means somebody has contributed in your life, that you are becoming aware of your limitation and you want to become free. And we also need to keep this possibility alive for other beings. Because of that reason, we have to ensure that the soil is healthy, so that the next generations they can also strive for liberation, their ultimate possibility, rather than struggling just to make their life end and look for the food. And like I already mentioned, that if you are still looking for a food, sex, or shelter or something like this, I'm not saying that like you should not look for these things, but this should not be everything you are looking for, because if you are making these the everything, then you'll miss out the possibility. And if you miss out the possibility, then spiritual awakening or Kundalini or whatever, enlightenment or moksha or nirvana or satori or whatever you want to say, kensho or whatever you say, will just become the story that has been told by other beings. So let's make it happen for each and every one of us, and save soil. Namaskar.